Hey guys, this is Bill Gaither with Sandburg's Marketing and Public Relations Office. With us today is Emily Webel. She is the Director of Advancement with the Sandburg College Foundation, and they do all kinds of things to support the college and the students, but in particular, they have something really big that's going on right now. Emily, tell us a little bit about what's happening in your world.
Our world looks very different. As you can see, I'm in my home office, but we are really trying to meet students where they are right now. This is typically a time where we're in celebration of them as graduates. We're still trying to work through that with the campus. We are finished awarding our scholarships, so we've given students financial freedom for next semester, but in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, we have opened up a crisis grant program. Historically, we have had a crisis grant opportunity for students, just a couple students, a couple times a semester, pretty tight parameters. And when we all went home and we all sheltered in place and we all got to hearing what the students were facing as unemployment rolled down, as things like that started to happen, in our department and across with the admin team, we decided to open up those parameters and really widen the net for students to come for assistance. We have been so lucky that this is not just a college financially driven opportunity. We have partnered with the Galesburg Community Foundation through their Rapid Response Fund. We received a $5,000 gift. We also just received from the SIU Foundation, which is an initiative of very generous private philanthropists who are giving money to public institutions of higher learning. We received a large gift for that as well. We have received a grant from the Western Illinois Community Foundation. We've received generous donations from our donors, our friends of the foundation. So we have been able to cover about half of the requests. I say that with a smile because I'm getting ready to roll out the second half. But the first day we opened the crisis grant opportunity, within 24 hours, 80 students had applied. So it's pretty shocking.
You and I have talked a little bit before about this and the fact that when people maybe think of college foundations, a lot of it comes down to, academic scholarships, and you have to have grades and GPA and a lot of criteria that are very specific to meet and be awarded money for that. And ultimately, that's something that has to do with the academic side of it. What you're talking about right now is more specific to the things, these outliers of things that these students are experiencing.
We talk a lot about in our department, as well as with the leadership of Dr. Riley now, is invisible barriers to education. Our financial aid office and our scholarship programs work hand in hand. We're very robust. We've got great community support with Galesburg and Sampson Promise, things like that. But there are those students who still struggle with tuition and fees. So we try to step in as much as we can. But in the crisis grant world, and even just in conversation before all this went down, those invisible barriers were really bubbling to the top. Childcare, transportation issues, medical issues, housing issues, food. We have a very large food insecurity problem across our whole district. So we really have seen a lot of requests that aren't just, I need help with my tuition and fees. It's more, even more so rent and housing issues. We've had students who are struggling with technology. I've had lots of conversations with folks about the cracks in our system that we've been able to kind of push sand over. And now we've had a huge rainstorm and that sand has dissipated. And one of our biggest cracks is the digital divide. So students are struggling with connectivity. We're all online. Our campus has really risen to the top with Chromebook access, as well as a Dell laptop loaner program. So students are not without an opportunity to have a device, but you cannot do your work if you rely on the Wi-Fi at McDonald's, which is closed because you don't have it at your home. So we're trying to figure out how to help students. With a $500 grant, you can go buy a hotspot and add it to your cell phone plan, which, that kind of, that lends itself down a rabbit hole. But we are trying to think with our solutions sometimes can be somewhat of a Band-Aid, but it's allowing us to think strategically, to think and to get those conversations out in the community too. I've really had a good set of conversations with different leaders across our district about what our students are dealing with and the inequities that are coming to the top. So it's been a really great reset for us. I think crisis grants have allowed us to collect a lot of data that are going to be really important as we go forward.
There's two things that I want to make sure that you have the chance to push here. One is that if you're a student and you're in need, you can visit the website. If you are somebody who is also in a position to help contribute financially to help with this, what do they need to all do right now?
If you're a student, for sure, it's a very easy process. You go to sandburg.edu/give-now, which is our general alumni and giving page. There's a red banner and it says apply for a crisis grant, and just click that button. And you do have to fill out a form that just goes directly to our inboxes. And it just gives us a snapshot of what your need is. And that snapshot allows us to have a conversation with you if it's a need that we can address without the financial side from our foundation. For example, students who ever put food on their form, I immediately follow up with an email and ask them if they need immediate assistance and get them connected with a food pantry right away. If it's a technology need, I always follow up and say, if it's a device, we have that capacity. So I'm trying to be also mindful of the dollars, because while we are getting great partnerships and great donations, it's not a it's not a continual stream. We still have to work for those dollars, and we're trying to be good stewards of that. So for sure, students have an easy application process, and we are working as quickly in our office to address that. It's a little tricky because there is a bit of a lag time, and I also try to communicate with that initial email of I have received your application is understand that crisis means immediate. So we try to have that conversation, and that was the beauty of doing crisis grants in our offices, that we connected with those community organizations as well. So we're trying to work in harmony with other organizations. For donors, it's just as easy too. That the red banner is for crisis grants. The blue banner is if you're sitting at home and feeling helpless. You know, there's a lot of people out there who are still working, which is great, who are not able to give of their time like they used to in a volunteering capacity, and you watch the news and just think, gosh, how can I help? $500 can change the trajectory of a student's life. It has been really amazing and powerful to get those thank you notes. And those are not required by any means, but we have gotten some thank you of, thanks, I was able to pay for new tires. Thanks, I was able to feed my family. Thanks, I was able to persevere and I can finish my degree and better my life. We're trying to always have the message be clear that Sandburg is a place where you can launch, and there's going to be things that are going to pull you back, but we're trying to do as much as we can to help keep those students up in the air and headed to that big goal.
Both of those links are available by visiting sandburg.edu/give-now. As we wrap up here, I do want to congratulate you on coming up on your annual anniversary. You've been with us for almost 1 year now. Did you ever in your life imagine?
I didn't think a year would end like this. I was looking forward to graduation, I will have to say, but I do want to thank all of the team that surrounds me at the foundation as well as at the college. It's been a really fast and furious and incredible year. We've made some really great strides in our department. I also want to thank the community organizations and community partners who we have forged new relationships with me sitting at the helm. And to the students, I am just applaud the stories and the folks that I come in contact with, even if it's just a small bit of time. It is fascinating to see the resiliency of our students and hear the stories of perseverance and new beginnings and things like that. Our crisis grant program is one that I will continue to push even after all of the hottest fires of the pandemic are still burning. Our students are a very interesting demographic, and their need will always be there, and I will always be there to support it.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Bill.